Hi, welcome back to another topic. You're with me, CJ Terra, with Z Source Forex Academy. So today we're discussing module 2 of our trading. We're gonna look at understanding market analysis. Okay, so in order for you to succeed in the forex industry, you have to understand these things. Okay, so you have to understand what moves the market and how can you participate in those movements. Okay, so there are three types of analysis that we're going to discuss today, one being fundamental analysis, the other being technical analysis, and the last one being sentimental analysis. So each type gives you an insight into the markets, helping you decide when to buy or sell. Remember, we're in the business of comparing currencies, which one is stronger, which one is weaker, and that which one can we buy, which one can we sell, and all these type of analysis will give us a clue on what to do. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to look at is fundamental analysis. I'm sure you're going to hear a lot about this because it's one of the most common thing that most traders talk about when they're talking about trading. I'm sure you've heard, oh, we're trading news or trading news. So this type of analysis looks at the bigger picture, what is happening in the economy and how it affects the currency. Think of it as like checking the health of the country, just to look at what is going on, how the strength of that currency is. So let's say, for example, your president in whatever country that you are at is announcing something detrimental to the economy. It's either that news that he will announce will affect the economy badly or will affect it in a good way. So that is what fundamental analysis is all about. So there are specific kind of news events that come out every now and then. It is very easy to track them. We're going to talk about that as we go on. So one of them, the news, is what we call GDP. I'm sure most of you have learned about this in school. What is our GDP and what? It stands for gross domestic products. Okay, so it measures the total value of goods and services produced by a country. Okay, so a growing GDP means your currency is strengthening because you're producing these goods and you're exporting them to other countries, meaning if the value of those goods are increasing in value, your currency is stronger. Then there's also what we call unemployment rates. So these are the type of news that come out. Unemployment usually looks at how many people are employed in the economy, how many people are unemployed, and they usually keep track. The government usually keeps track of these and releases a report at a given date, depending on which currency you are trading. Okay, then there's also what we call inflation rates. So moderate inflation is healthy, but too much inflation reduces the currency value. So we're gonna discuss it in detail as we go on. If you're gonna be a fundamental trader, these are one of the things that you need to understand about trading news. Okay, then there's central banks. So the central banks control monetary policies and interest rates. For example, when a central bank raises interest rate, it attracts more investors to that country, okay, increasing its value. So the central bank also uses tools like quantitative easing and tightening of influence so that their currency is strengthened. Okay, also news events like elections, wars, natural disasters, these are part of fundamental analysis, because if there's a war happening in a country, meaning that country's economy is not doing well, people are not producing, people are not working, so definitely there are negative factors that come into play when the economy is when people are affected by such things. Okay, the second thing we're going to talk about, or we are talking about, is technical analysis. So what is technical analysis? Technical analysis is the actual charting where you look at price. You're gonna see a lot of candlesticks and what we call charts. I'm sure you've noticed the forex market when somebody is analyzing. If you haven't, we're gonna look at, when we are analyzing, we're gonna look at what the market is actually doing. There are what we call chart patterns. How is the market moving? What is it doing? How is it behaving? And you can actually monitor these things by physically looking at, because the market gives you a certain movement at a given period of time. Let's say you want to track price of a currency in a given hour. How has price behaved in 1 hour? You're going to look at these prices. It's going to give you the lowest it has been, the highest it has been, and the opening in that particular hour, and the closing price. So all these patterns, the candlesticks, they form patterns. We're going to look at partially some of them as we go on. Okay, so you're going to have patterns like head and shoulders, double top, the flag, and just to mention a few. Okay, then there are things that we call indicators. These are also part of technical analysis, because these also look at the candlesticks, what they are doing, and give you a certain figure or percentage of what to expect the market to do next. Okay, some of these indicators are called RSI, there's MACD, there's moving average. We're going to look at them in detail when we start looking at the charts. Okay, then there are things that we usually do, like support and resistance, where price has failed to move above or price has failed to move below. We're looking at the perspective of what the market is doing. So all these are part of technical analysis. When you are physically looking at the charts, you are technically analyzing the markets. Okay, then the last thing that we look at is what we call sentimental analysis. So this is a type of analysis that looks at the overall mood of the market. So are traders feeling optimistic, meaning are they feeling that the currency is going to be strong, or are they feeling pessimistic, meaning this currency is not doing it for me? So market sentiment is, if most traders believe that the currency will rise, the price might go up, okay, or increase in buying power. Conversely, if traders are selling a currency in large volumes, it could indicate bearish sentiment. So there are certain tools that you can look at physically. They'll tell you, okay, there are more buyers holding gold, or there are more sellers that are holding gold, and you can follow that and think, okay, I think I'm gonna also decide to hold. So it's like a majority of people, they'll give you a majority of people say about 50 or 60% of the world is holding on to gold because they feel gold is going to move up in value. Okay, then you also jump and say, I'm gonna buy according to this analysis. Okay, so it is very important to combine the three when you're trading, because it gives you a better edge. Okay, to make better trading decisions, it's very, very important, because fundamental gives you the why behind the market movement. Why has price moved from here? Why has this currency risen in value? Were there any news releases or whatnot? Then the technical gives you the when can I jump in, regardless of, we've seen that the currency is not doing well right now, so where am I jumping in exactly? Then now the sentiment analysis gives you an overview of the market's mood. So okay, yes, this is a verified sell, because majority are switching now from buys to sells. Okay, so just to give a practical example, let's say the economy shows that the US economy is growing, which is fundamental analysis. At the same time, the RSI indicates that US JPY is not overpowering, which is your technical analysis. So you've seen the candlesticks, they're not overpowering, and the market sentiment is bullish for the dollar, which is sentimental analysis. So these three factors combined will give you a confidence to buy the USD JPY. Okay, lastly, so I'm going to show you which apps you can look at these things from. So your apps for sentimental analysis, these tools provide insight into market sentiment. Okay, so there's the sentiment trader in Forex. This feature provides sentimental analysis, showing you how many traders are buying or selling a particular currency pair. The app, you can find it on Android or iOS. You just type sentimental trader. Okay, then TradingView, the website itself, you can go to tradingview.com. Features community sentiment analysis through comments, ideas, and polls. The app itself, you can also find it. All these you can download on your phone. Then with price action, okay, the apps that you can use to analyze, these are MT4 or MT5. These are something that you need to download. Okay, then also you can It features basically indicators and tools, candlesticks analysis. All the candlesticks, you can see them from this. Okay, the app is there both on Android and iOS. Together with Trading View, again, it also gives you an idea of price action. And then when it comes to the apps that provide you with economic news, okay, which is your fundamentals, you can check Forex Factory, you can check MyBook FX, you can check investing.com, you can also check bloomberg.com. It is important that you download these apps. Okay, so the first step, we are looking at creating an account. You've downloaded your Xness app. Now you are downloading the MT5 app or MT4 app, depending on which account we're gonna open, whether you choose to open MT4 or MT5. Then the next, now we're downloading these things, because these are the important apps that we're gonna look at before executing any trade. Okay, you're gonna look at these apps and execute a trade. So what are the practical steps to analyze the market? So first things first, follow the economic calendar. Okay, you look at the economic calendar. What news is coming out today? Okay, you don't just trade minus understanding. Okay, I'm gonna trade this pair. What news is coming out today? You need to know that. Okay, then you study the charts. What is the market price action telling me? Am I bullish or bearish? Am I buying this currency or selling this currency? Okay, then the last thing you use is your sentimental analysis. Now you look at what is the overall mood. Is everybody else supporting my buy or sell? Then now you can choose to take a trade. These steps are very much important when you are trading. So that's all I had for you guys pertaining the types of market analysis. So remember, we have fundamental, we have sentimental, and we have technical analysis. These are some of the most important things you need to look out. Always remember, a pip a day keeps poverty away. See you in the next module.